Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. It's another Stampin' Day here in Simcoe, Ontario. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and if you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, please feel free to shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So as I say, welcome everybody. We are going to make a quick card today. I'm going to turn the camera down and I'll show you the Celebration, an item from the Celebration catalogue, and what we're going to make today. As I say, welcome everybody. This is the card we're going to make today, and for the most part it uses supplies. The DSP and the stamp set is from the Celebration catalogue. Celebration runs from July 1st to August 31st this year, and it's a lovely little catalogue, got some lovely things in, and we are going to use this stamp set and DSP. The stamp set and DSP, you can get them both free if you make a $120 purchase. The paper is gorgeous, it's absolutely beautiful papers, and the flowers are so distinct and so beautiful that they're really pretty flowers. So this is what we're going to make today. We're going to use these items. This is the card. The ribbon, the Blackberry Bliss ribbon, is an older ribbon because there isn't one in the catalogue, but I'm sure you could match that. If you've got any sort of Blackberry Bliss ribbon, you can use it. If you don't have Blackberry Bliss ribbon, you could use the white crinkled seam binding and hold it tight over your ink pad and pull it like this. Just pull it to the side and you will get the ink. The ink will pick up onto the ribbon. The other way you could do it is to put 3 or 4 drops of re-inker into a paper, a cup of some sort. Give it a quick spritz with either water or alcohol, swish the ribbon around and leave it as long as you want to for the darkness of the ribbon. The longer you leave it, the darker the ribbon will be, because the more ink it will pick up. So that's that. The other thing we have is this punch, and it's called a Delightful Tag Topper punch. Any punch that's shaped on the top would do, because you could always punch the hole in it yourself to feed the ribbon through. So let me just pop that out of the way and we'll get started. I'll put the card to the side. We have, to make this card, we have the Wonderful World stamp set and DSP that were in the Celebration catalogue. We have the Blessings of Home stamp set. We're going to use the sentiment from the Blessings of Home stamp set, and that's in the annual catalogue on page let me think, 75 I think it is. The stamp set itself is about $34, and if you buy the bundle, which is the stamps and dies, you save 10% and you pay $70. So we're going to use those today. So to make the card, we have some supplies. We have basic white cardstock, which is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5.5. It's an easel card, it stands like that. We have a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and it just gives us a tiny 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. And then we have DSP, which is 5 1/4 by 4, again gives us about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. We've got a scrap of basic white, which is 2 inches, a very scant 2 inches, because we want it to go through the punch, and it's by 4.5 I think it is, 2 by 4.5, yes, 2 by 4.5. And then we got a little piece of Blackberry Bliss, which we're going to use to line the sentiment or to back the sentiment, and a little piece of Whisper White, which is about a 1/2 inch, you know, as long as you need to get the stamp on it, 1/2 inch wide. Okay, so because these stamps are cling stamps, that means they have the red rubber and they have the foam built in, so we don't need the brown stamp pad. We've got some Blackberry Bliss ink, and we've got some Pear Pizzazz ink. Now, I'm going to be lazy here. I could mask the flower and just stamp the leaves, and then mask the leaves and stamp the flower, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be quite lazy and I'm going to stamp, not too hard, not too heavy, the flower. Then I'm going to take a handy wipe or a baby wipe, and I'm just going to wipe the leaves carefully and make sure I don't have any ink around the edge of the stamp, because I've pressed the stamp down onto because I pressed the ink pad down onto the stamp. There's a chance I'll have picked up some, just touch the edge of the stamp going around. So then we're going to take the green and we're going to stamp the leaves. And I think that should do. And we're going to put it fairly close to the top of the stamp and just to the top of the cardstock and just slightly on an angle. Now when we punch this out, we're going to lose about 1/4 of an inch from the top and the bottom of the card, so I'm going to move it down just a tad more. There. So there's one flower. I'm going to do it again. Ink up the flower first. Clean the stamp, clean the leaves. Make sure there's no ink around the top of the stamp set. Got a little bit of ink around the bottom here, so I'm just going to clean it off. There, and I'm going to turn my card. Whoops, get the stamp the right way up, and again leave about 1/4 of an inch. Actually, I've left about 1/2 inch, almost 1/2 inch up at the top there. I'm not concerned that the stems are going to overlap because we're going to cover the stems with the sentiment. There, that is nice. Clean that off, and while we've got the stamp, the ink pads out, we might as well stamp the sentiment. We're going to stamp it in Blackberry Bliss. Set that over, and the sentiment says have a perfect birthday. I'll try and line it up in the middle of the cardstock. Yes. Pop that out of the way. Right. So we've done all the stamping we need. Just set that over. Oh, why don't we stamp the envelope while we're here? Let's put the same flower on the envelope, and that will finish the envelope nicely. So we're going to do this again. Stamp the flower, clean off the stamp. Just cleaning the block a little bit here. So we stamp the flower. Take the green. Stamp the leaves. Check the envelope. And there's the envelope decorated to match the card. We need our punch, and we're going to punch the top and the bottom of this piece of cardstock. So let me put this in the punch. Now this punch does 3 different layers. I think it's 1 inch, 1.5 inches and 2 inch. This piece of cardstock is just a very scant 2 inches wide, and I'm going to put it face down in the punch because, is it going to fit? Yes. Is it going to fit? Yes. You need your cardstock to lie down in the ridges inside the frame there, and you need to push it right to the top. You want to be sure you're not seeing any of your flower here in the hole, because that's going to cut your flower off. There. See, we didn't cut any of the flower off. Now let's try that again with the other end. Now I can see just a tiny little bit of ink there, so that's going to be the top of my flower. So I'm just going to gently ease this back a little bit. I need to make sure that I haven't pulled it back too far, that I'm not getting the whole shape. There, that's lovely. There, that worked nice. Get those pieces out. And those holes are where you're going to thread your ribbon through. So we now need a piece of ribbon that is about the length of your card plus enough to tape behind. So it's about 7 inches, I'm going to say. 7 inches should do you nicely. And what we're going to do is thread it from the back. Now I've got a little nick, a little edge there where I pulled the punch back. So I'm just going to trim it. Maybe that one as well. There. That was just a little piece of fluff on the top of my punch. It's not going to affect the card at all, but I just don't want it. So I folded the ribbon in half with the fold at the top, and I'm poking it through here if I can, and then I'm turning my card back, lying my ribbon down, and I'm folding it the same way again with the fold at the top. Now the reason I'm doing the fold at the top is because when I'm finished I want my ribbon to sit the same way, and by that I mean I don't want this to sit with the bump at the top. I want them both to sit with sort of a dip, so that it's coming nicely through the card, nicely through this piece of card. And I'm just going to turn it over, make sure it's all flat and pulled tight. I'm going to set this about the middle. If I turn it this way and put this upright, I'm going to put my ruler about a ½ an inch from the bottom, and I know my piece of DSP is 4 inches across. This needs about a ½ inch top and bottom, so I'm going to fold my ribbon back. The point, the middle here of this piece, is going to sit right on the 2 inch mark. Keep the ribbon there. Right there. Now that looks a little too high to me, so I'm going to just move it down, but I'm still keeping it on the 2 inches. And I know I should have about 1 inch either side of my label, because my label is 2 inches, my DSP is 4. So that's going to go right there, like that. Now we're going to turn this over. Make sure the DSP, the ribbon is about the same place on the DSP. Let's just turn it back and have a little look. Yeah, that's stuck down. Now we're going to put a piece of adhesive there and there. Fold that down and that over. There, and that's going to hold that nicely in place, just like that. And then I'm going to take this piece and mount it on the Blackberry Bliss. And when I put my adhesive on the bottom, I want to go right across my ribbon. So I held it with my finger here and then ran the adhesive right across. Turn it around. Do the same again. I'm going to hold my ribbon in place and run my adhesive right across. So we've got about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Turning my card so that the long side is in front of me, and I'm going to push this fairly close to the top. See, get my finger peeled out of there. That gives us just a little border around there. So now this is going to go on the white card. On the card base. Now I need to look at my flowers right now, because when I stamped this it didn't matter which way the flower went. One of them is right, one is wrong. It's always going to be that way. But I want these flowers to sit upright on my card, so I need to make sure that my card, the fold is at the left when I put this down. And again, I've got about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. There. We've got a sentiment here which we stamped that says "Have a perfect birthday." I'm going to just trim it a little bit, maybe about 1/8 of an inch off, and I'm going to notch it just like that. Do the same at the other side. I think take a smidgen off. Notch again, and then before I notch the Blackberry Bliss piece, I'm going to put this on the card so that then I can see how much of a border I have all the way around and make it even, make sure it's all even. So I'm just going to put this down on here. Like that. Trim this end. Notch. Notch. And I think we'll put this up on some dimensionals just to give the card a little bit of extra lift. I don't know what it is. Yeah, there we go. So there. And then we've got some lovely little iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. I've got a pokey tool here. I'm just gonna, it's not a pokey tool, it's called a quick pick, I think it's called technically. I'm just gonna put a couple of gems somewhere here and there on the card. So there it is, quick little birthday card, letting your DSPs do the work for you. There's the card. As always, it's my own design. If you want to copy it, please feel free, but just say where you saw the design and who made it. And as always, if you do sell your cards, put the angel stamp on from Stampin' Up, which just says all the supplies used were Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks for watching and have a great day, everybody. See you next week. Bye.